Welcome back to Tell Me Something Good. I'm your host, Jackie.
And I'm Jelly, and this is a podcast where we talk about self-development experiences and lessons that we learned along the way. And today we're going to be just having a mukbang. We have some yummy food, guys.
I'm so excited. And this is a disclaimer. We're doing a mukbang, so if you don't like these types of videos, you don't like the crunching and the people eating.
Chewing, this is not the episode for you. So we're just going to be eating and talking about different topics, like a wide range of topics. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. So first, let's start with something good.
And we actually have a shared something good this week.
Yes. So in the last episode, I was so sick. And then she goes home and she starts feeling sick. Well, you were already a little bit sick, right? When you got here.
Just like a runny nose, but I feel like I have allergies, so I didn't think nothing of it. But yeah, so we both got sick and we had COVID. And now that we have our taste back, we're so ready. I'm about to start digging in.
Yeah, I lost my taste. I lost my smell. I have had COVID in 2020. I want to say I think that's when I had COVID. And I tested for it earlier this past weekend. I feel so much better, but we were both going through it like the whole week. And even that day, whenever I left, that day we were shooting, I literally didn't want to do anything. I went and ate some pho, and then I was literally feeling so bad that I was like, I will take an edible. I didn't, though. I didn't do it. I just went home and watched La Familia Peluche. Have you watched that in a while?
Yes, I used to a lot.
Okay. So I used to watch it all the time with like my parents, but it was just like something funny.
Yeah.
Now, when I watch it as an adult, they were nasty.
Really?
Yes. It is hilarious, though.
I always loved the like fashion on there, like
oh my god,
furry. Like it was just so cool to me.
But if you watch it now, you get a whole perspective. It's like they're nasty. Okay, I'm hungry, so we're eating. My mouth is literally watering. Okay, Big Bag. So we're eating from our favorite restaurant from Asheboro, Taco Loco, sponsored by
good.
Taco Loco. No, we got the oh my god, that is embarrassing. My mouth is literally
we got the nachos trio. This is one of my favorite dishes from there. I'm such a nacho person with all the toppings and stuff.
Yes.
But you guys, if you could only smell this.
It has steak, chorizo, chicken, and we got the chips on the side so they wouldn't get soggy, which is so smart, Jelly. It is so.
Side of guac.
My mom hooked it up. But yeah, I couldn't taste. I couldn't smell. Honestly, I was feeling skinny. Because I was drinking protein shakes.
Yeah. But I felt like skinny, but not healthy skinny.
Yeah,
like,
me
I
too.
feel like, am I going to survive?
I was walking 3 miles a day, which was good. It took me an hour. I did it for 3 days.
But yeah, so pretty much our something good is that we feel better and we get to eat good food now. And it was rough, but so y'all make sure, take your vitamins because a lot of people are getting COVID right now.
And right now that people are going back to school.
Oh yeah.
So, oh my god, that sounded yummy.
It was.
Anyway, so we were going to talk about working at Taco Loco.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we've told you guys that Jelly used to work there, right? That's where we got the idea.
What year was that?
That was 2 years ago. How was that 2 years?
2022?
And it was always fun because we just always talked. We'd be having the deepest conversation, and clients are like, the customers are just there like, girl, take my order. And then
I feel like it was really random me started working there. You know, like.
Didn't you ask my dad? And he was just, my dad, he'll be like, yeah, come in.
Well, I was like, can I come in? Because I was trying to do bartending, and I was like, can I just come shadow and look? But then I had a job.
Honey, we don't do that. You getting a job. You ain't gonna be here. You're gonna be working.
But it was fun though.
And it was every time after work we would get drink. That's when we were in our drunk. Like we would drink all the time. We'd have drinks after work. Then we'd go to my brother's because she has like this rooftop. It sounds like he's so bougie. He has his rooftop where he lives, which it was so nice to just go up really there and have drinks. And we would just literally stay up till like the sun came up. Why did we do that?
It was fun though. I don't think we overdid it though. You know, like we didn't get too crazy. Like it was just more about talking. And
I worked there this morning.
Was it busy?
Not crazy busy. Like it was not bad. Like I was able to leave early. But what else?
Is that hard to work like with your family? Like
it can be, but it's not. It's fun. I look forward to it. Like I really do. Like knowing that my sisters are gonna be there, my brother. I literally look forward to it. When they're not there, I don't look forward to it as much. Like today, Bridget and Carla didn't work, so it was me and the other girls, which I like love talking to them and stuff. But it's not the same if my sisters aren't there. Yeah. Like but my brother was there, so that made it still fun. And but no, it's honestly like I wouldn't enjoy it if it wasn't for them. Like it would not be a job that I'd be like, oh no, I'm not working there if it wasn't them. Or and you get some little perks like, and I feel like I don't want to sound spoiled, right? But it's funny because I forget that I can get little perks, you know, like there's certain things that are included when you order food and some things that are not, but they'll be like, well, I'll take everybody's order when we want to eat. That are, like they can eat while they're working, because obviously you can't get like aguachile and stuff. And there was one thing that I wanted, and they were like, make sure they weren't gonna do it, and they're like, it's for Jackie, and they're like, okay. Like, but I'm like, no, it should be the same treatment.
No, hell it shouldn't.
I feel bad.
If my parents owned a restaurant, I would be a fat ass.
No, but Carla's like, dude, we're their kids.
Yeah.
Like, we work here all the time. So, yeah. But sometimes I do feel bad. But it's funny because the cooks will be like, oh, it's for, okay, we'll do it. But if it's anybody else, they'll be like, we can't do it. We can't do it. Because then, you know.
Because it can be like, take it up with your kid, you know, like, the other people, I don't know, I feel like it would be.
But we try to make it fun.
They couldn't get in trouble. Like, for hooking it up for y'all.
But I think for me and my experience of working with other people that are not my family, like at the restaurant, I think I have fun with everybody. And I try to be very like understanding when things happen too, you know? Because I know how it is to work somewhere where you're like scared to tell your manager or whatever, like, oh my god, I'm gonna get in trouble. I feel like we're cool, like we're not too like, and we like get along with everybody. I feel like,
and I think you can tell, like the environment there, just so like just have a good time, eat some good food, listen to some music, like.
But I will tell you though, if you work with like, there's been people who do, and they do have like that energy. It brings everybody can feel it, you know. So. And sometimes it is like that. Like, if somebody's having a bad day, like, you can feel it. But it is fun working with family. If you've worked with... But you also know that there's going to be times where you're either going to get into it, and then you have to be together at work, or...
Yeah.
How are you holding this?
In one hand. But I feel like restaurant jobs does take a lot of patience.
People who do mukbangs, how do y'all do it if you're not like talking and eating?
I know, it's harder.
Because now I just want to eat.
I know.
This is hard.
I wonder how it's gonna sound. Like, is it gonna sound annoying, like me munching? I feel like I'm a loud eater. I can hear the crunching, but.
Okay, this is so good. I was hungry. I didn't realize I was this hungry.
And all the flavors, like, after not being able to taste
Mm-hmm.
That's a scent that I was like, it's underrated taste. Like I think about like not having sight or not having like hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if you couldn't taste, which we couldn't, you know?
Or smell.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't smell. I couldn't taste. And then I can barely even hear.
You couldn't hear.
That's just me though. Like
I can't hear either.
I can't hear. And I'm like, you need to be like talking slowly sometimes. And like, cause sometimes I'm like, huh?
Mm-hmm. I think for me, it's my earphones. Like on my phone, it'll say like turn it down, and I never turn it down.
What do you mean?
Like if you wear Bluetooth headphones and like it's too loud or you're exposed to too much.
Oh, really?
Like it tells you to turn it down, or like it's too loud. They recommend that you turn it down, and I always ignore it.
I've never had that show up. Wait,
really, it might be a setting. Yeah.
Well, I can't hear, and it's funny though because now I'll make a joke because I'll literally be like, huh? But I do have really small ears. My mom has the tiniest little ears, and I'm like, it's not my fault. I have little ears. I can't hear anything. But it's the worst when I have a table and they're like, I've already asked them like 3 times.
Oh yeah.
Like, what? I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I gotta turn this music down. Like, I cannot hear sometimes. What else do we got?
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about how I'm working on keeping promises to myself and stopping negative talk.
I like.
So, I mean, not even promises. Just if I say I'm going to do something, like I feel like I need to do it, and that's what I've been working on. Because if you look at it as like if somebody tells you they're going to do something all the time and they don't do it, you know, you start to lose trust in them, and we do it to ourselves all the time.
No, I agree. I think it's being disciplined and saying like I'm gonna, because I will literally, one of my biggest things is setting alarms so I can go to the gym in the morning, and then I just don't do it. But it's because I know I'll be able to later. Like I know that I'm like, okay, well I'll be able to, but I know that it would feel so much better to get it done. And so I'm like, I'm reading this book. I just started it literally yesterday. And I forgot what it's called, The Power of Self-Discipline. And it talked about that, what you're talking about. And it is true, though. You feel disappointed in yourself when you don't follow through. But then when you do it, you realize it was not that hard.
Yeah, we make it harder than it needs to be. And then, like, if you say you're going to do that time, it's because you probably factored in, like, it's the best time for you to do it. And then later on, like, you might be rushing to do dinner. It's just a lot more.
If you could have just done it.
Yeah. And it feels good to get it out the way.
And when you think of times where you have followed through, don't you feel so good? You're like, oh my God, I'm so, you know, and the book that I'm talking about, it talks about how we want that instant dopamine. If it's extra hours of sleep, hey, it's going to work out now. It's just because you want that instant gratification instead of waiting to get it later.
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about it that way, and once I finish the book, I'll talk more about it. But once you think about it that way, it's science, like in your head. And you're like, wait, I don't need to do that. I don't need to eat all those donuts because I know right now it's going to feel good. And it's like for a second, it feels good. And then you like when you hit a cigarette, it feels good for a second. But why do you have to keep smoking the whole thing?
Even like doom scrolling, like just laying on the couch scrolling.
That's the part that
this
phone has a control on me and I don't like it.
I think on everybody, honestly, like.
I can't even, like, it's getting to the point, and I'm trying hard to, like, I really need to start making a day where I just don't use social media, which is fine. Like, everything will be fine if, like, I will survive, you know?
Yeah.
But I've realized that, like, to do anything, and I notice this because on my camera, my Ring camera, I'll sometimes watch it back, and I see myself walking out of the house.
Looking at your phone?
And I'm like walking in the car, just looking at my phone. And I'm like, I'm literally a robot walking to my car like this. Everything is, I have my phone with me.
And you miss moments like that.
Yes. There could be a man waiting in the woods. Sometimes I'm like, imagine if And have you ever walked inside your house and it's dark? And I'm like, I didn't even look at my surroundings. There could have been a man out there ready to tackle me, and I was too busy looking at my phone. And it's a cycle of watching other people and then looking back at your life and being like, I'm not doing that. But I'm still watching them. Like, I'm not doing anything to get out of this cycle that I'm in, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like recently, when I was sick, like I was saying, it makes me be like, dang, I took being healthy for granted. So it does make me want to, like if I tell myself that I'm going to the gym today, like just do it. I don't know why I've been struggling this year, but I feel like I'll do it for a little bit and then just stop again. Like I haven't been consistent with it. So that's something I was like, I need to work on for real, is if I say I'm going to do something, do it, like no matter how small it is. And then, what was the other thing? Stopping negative talk. I think the hardest part with that is realizing, like catching it. Because when you're so used to it all the time, like you don't even notice when you're doing it.
What kind of negative talk do you mean? Like just of yourself, like not being proud of yourself in certain things, or?
Yeah.
That's how I feel too sometimes. Like I'll catch myself being like comparing even to like last year. And what I'm thinking is financially, like, or wherever.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, but the confidence that I'm gaining this year, even though I'm not really like, oh, I'm like the fittest I've been, but the confidence that I'm like, I did not have that last year or the year before. Like I was doing something and my bank account looked good, but I did not feel confident. I didn't feel like I was stepping into who I was. And I'm like, if it means trading in some things for another, like at the end of the day, like we didn't have a podcast. We didn't get to talk, you know, but I get you. I think I've been feeling that way too. I think last weekend, I don't know if being sick made me more emotional, but I could not stop crying.
Really?
I was an emotional person. And I started just feeling bad about myself. And I'm like, dang, like, you know, because if with real estate, if you don't have closings, you're technically unemployed. Like, I could be working with buyers. Like technically, I'm unemployed, but I do work at, Taco Loco. But you start thinking about all those things, but I'm like, what am I doing to get out of it?
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? I am going to take TikTok serious for real. And I'm saying this right now. Like, I'm going to start posting because people it's not even just about the money, but you get to show your creative side.
Yeah.
Well, and if there's anything I have right now, it's time. You know what I was thinking about? And I was going to make a TikTok about this. Hang on, let me swallow. And y'all, it's hard to eat nachos on the couch. If you watch this, this is your studio. It's going to smell like nachos in here for just a few hours. Anyway, so I was thinking the other day, imagine if no one acted on their gifts. We wouldn't have teachers. We wouldn't have doctors. We wouldn't have anything like all these people that make the world better. So it's the same thing with people. Like everybody's situation's different, right? Like your gift that God gave you is different. Like it could be speaking, it could be connecting with people, it could be. But imagine if no one acted on him.
I thought the world would be
and
scary.
God gives us these gifts, right? Everybody has a gift. I think everybody is here for a purpose, and if we don't act on it, then our purpose here. What are we doing for our purpose? Existing and not acting on these gifts. And I think we all have them.
Yeah, we all do.
And sometimes it might be like, but what is mine? You might be asking, like, what is my gift? Like, what are you good at? What is something that comes easily to you?
Something that you're like drawn to do. And that goes back to like doing what you say you're gonna do. Like if it's on your heart and your mind, it's for a reason. And I saw that, like they say, like when people invent things, somebody probably had that thought before, but that person who made it like put the action behind it and like has a whole invention and all these things.
And the reason, and in the book, this is what it said. It said the reason we don't do things is because, or the motivator to doing anything, it's either you don't want to be in pain, or you want instant happiness.
Yeah.
And it's true, like, it said something about if you're not going to go bungee jumping because you're scared. You don't want to be in pain of possibly dying, but there's always anything
it's
that
like
we do.
The dopamine of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what is something that you really want to do? Is go to the gym?
Mm-hmm.
I guess you got to think about, like, for me too, is my why. I want to feel confident. I want to feel healthy. I can. And the thing is, our bodies are physically able to go.
Yeah. That's what makes me be like, girl, like, there's people who pray to have your health, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me be like, and I already know I'm most confident whenever I am active in the gym. Like, I feel healthier, clothes fit me better. Like, it's just so many pros to it. But I'm like, why is it so hard to just do the thing? And it's not hard. We just make it hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And I think you said this in the other episode, is the more you do something, the more confident you get.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true, the more you do the things you don't want to do, it's like you become more confident. You're like, oh, well, I didn't want to do it, but I did it. Like,
Mm-hmm. And you don't even, I feel like after a point, you just do the thing too.
mm-hmm.
Like, you don't even have the thing of like, I don't feel like all the thoughts. Like, eventually they go away if you just do it over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was me. Like, I would like, okay, I have to go. And I would just go get it done. And then, but then, yeah, like now I am less confident. Like, I feel like going to the gym, I'm going to be like nervous again.
I think also it's important to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I go in there without a plan and I'm like, I don't want to be here because I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like that too. I realize though that it doesn't even have to be like, I just have to get my body moving and I feel better. In that book, it also says like, you feel just as good if you, after you either eat a donut, right? You're going to feel happy, right? At first. And if you go to the gym, it might take you 45 minutes, but you're going to feel so happy afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same dopamine. It's just this part of you that.
And one is better than the other in some way, you know, like the results of it.
And usually if they're instant, it's probably.
Not as good. Yeah, going back to, because also I would beat myself up about it. Like, you didn't go again today. You know, that's part of the stopping the negative talk. And being like, okay, like, we'll go tomorrow. Like, being more positive about it. Because whenever you, like, beat yourself up about it, it doesn't make you want to go more. You know, like, you're just like, well, I did it again. What's another day of not going? Or.
And sometimes what you need, and I'm like this, is accountability and maybe an accountability partner. Because when you have the ability to not go and you have the ability to go later, like, why wouldn't you choose that, right? So sometimes I do better when I have an accountability partner.
But I am like, why do I care to keep my word to other people and not
Exactly.
myself?
It's people pleasing.
Yeah.
That's how you can use your people pleasing to a good thing. If you're gonna be a people pleaser, use it for something that benefits you. But no, it is true. I was talking to somebody about that one time, and they're like, that is just part of people pleasing. Yeah. You're only doing it because you don't want to disappoint the other person. But how do we keep ourselves from disappointing ourselves?
Yeah, that is true.
It's just forcing yourself to do it. I'm trying to think of a time where I forced myself to go to the gym. I force myself all the time, and I'm like, I don't want to go, but like,
and it's also like all in the mind. I remember when I was watching the Tony Robbins seminar like months ago, he was saying, what makes you, what did he say, disciplined? Like, what makes you do things, pretty much. And people were saying, what gives you energy was the question. What do you think it is?
Well, some people probably say money.
Yeah, people said money, people said food, like all these things. And he was like, no, it's like your mind. Which was like, also that makes sense. Like when you wake up and you hit snooze on your alarm and you got to go to work, you literally jump up, you're gone, like you're like racing to go to get ready, like all this, and you go. But then like, it's like you can trick your mind to being like, just do it, you know, like I don't know how to explain it.
I know what you mean. Like
even like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method of like just do it. You know,
when you don't want to do something, you just count back. 5, 4.
And it is like because you like on the thing it says you can talk yourself out of it. So if you just don't even give yourself time to do that, then that helps too.
It's just I think we overthink it.
Yeah.
Instead of it is with everything, like whether it's going to the gym, what am I gonna wear? Oh, now I have to do like, girl, just wear whatever. Like, what's that? Oh, yeah, I agree though. I think having goals for ourselves and achieving them builds confidence, and that's something that we have to work on. And I think you almost have to get angry at yourself. Like you do have to do a little bit, not negative, but like, girl, I know you're better than this. Yeah. We know we're better, and that's why we want to do it. Like, we don't want to do it because we think we're incapable of it. Like, no, honey, we know deep in our heart that we are capable, and that's the part where I get frustrated with myself too, because I'm like, I know that I can. Yeah. And then I see, like, this is why I want my dad to come on here, because he is that person that will believe in himself when no one believes in him. He's his biggest fan, honey. I'll tell you. And I love that, because you need to be your own fan, because
nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to text you every day. Come on, get up, get them shoes, go to the gym. Like, nobody's going to do that.
And and it's funny, he hurt my feelings the other day. Because he asked me to do something, right? And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And it was so simple, just mailing some stuff out for him. And I printed everything out that he needed. I got everything ready for him. And then I was like, I'll do it when I'm at work at Taco Loco. So I started doing it. We got busy. So I left like 2 more to do. He calls me the other day. And he's like, and I forgot all about it. Like, it wasn't my priority. So I did it. He calls me and he's like, hey, did you finish? He called me in the morning, which is rare. He never calls me like, and I'm like, he's like, did you finish doing that? And I told him, no, I had 2 more to do. I completely forgot. And he's like, okay, I'll get it done. I know that when I tell myself, it gets done. I was like, damn. I was like, okay. He's like, I know when I say, like, when he's like, I don't have to depend on anyone to do anything for me. When I know I have to do something, I get it done.
Damn.
And that hurt my feelings. I was like, okay. I was like, okay, bye. And he's like, okay, bye. And then we act like nothing, right? But those little things, it's true though. Like, he depended on me and I didn't. Yeah. And I'm like, and I started feeling bad about myself. I'm like, dang, I dropped the ball. Like, but it's okay. Like, it's not that serious, but that is how he is though. He knows that if he tells himself he's going to do something, like, he literally gets it done. And his birthday's only 1 day after mine, so I need to have some of them traits, because we're both Capricorn. I know I have to have that trait in me. Yeah, and
it's just like you forgot, and it wasn't a priority, like you said.
But to him, and I guess he's like, well, I'm not worrying about it because Jackie said she's gonna, because he would have done it. You know? But he's always been that way, and even little things like, and this was like so special to me, and he doesn't even realize it, but like, a month ago, he's like, I'm gonna run to the store, I'll be right back. And I was like, okay, can you get me some chocolate? And like, I never ask him for it, and he's like, if they have it, you know. And I just forgot
that response.
Yeah, he's like, if they have it, I'll bring it. And I was like, okay. He comes back and he like brought like all kinds of chocolate, like, you know. And I was like, oh my
the little things.
It is. And like, you know, he could have been like, oh, I forgot, like, but he doesn't forget things. Like, that's just my dad. But there's a lot I can learn from him, and that is one of the things. And people would tell him all the time, don't do this, don't do that, or it's not gonna work for you. And imagine how our parents, they told him not to come to the U.S. I'm sure. Yeah. Their parents were like, don't go over there. Where are you going to the U.S. for?
Yeah, that is true.
And then they came here, and
I was thinking about that the other day, how I feel like a thing with our generation is that we make everything harder, or like we victimize ourselves a lot. Because I remember my dad used to tell me stories of like how he had the same shoe, like one pair of shoes for years and years, and like 2 outfits, you know, like poor, like dirt poor, walked 5 miles to school, like all these things. And here I am, I don't feel like going to the gym. Like,
or damn, I can't even record myself on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like what? What do you mean?
And I feel like that's what happened with this generation is that we have it too easy that we create these problems that don't need to be problems.
Yeah.
Like we know we have food to eat. We have light, power, like all these things that are privileges.
There's no odds against us to succeed. Like, I feel like we have all the tools.
All the tools. More than we need, honestly. Like,
oh my gosh, now they're motivating me. But it's crazy because we'll go on this high of motivation.
Yeah, and then
we're like, okay. But it's like, how do we keep ourselves high like this? Yeah. And I think
it's how we forget the information that we know. Like, we just forget
or you start letting those negative thoughts again get creep in, and you're like, well, I'm not ready, or I'm not good enough, but sometimes you just need a life coach. Hire me to remind you. But sometimes you do just need someone to remind you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's your friends. Sometimes it's literally, I don't know, like someone to remind you, because when we're alone all the time, or imagine we're consumed by our thoughts. You do need people, I think, somebody reminding you, hey, you told me this was important. Like, this is something that I learned in coaching was okay, so it's, how would you feel in 6 months if you did this, if you stick to this, and you're like, damn, that's going to feel good. How are you going to feel if you don't? Disappointed, sad. So next time I meet with you, I'm going to be like, you told me, is this still important to you? Yes, you have to remember how important it is to you, because it seems so far away, but before you know it, it's there. And
I think I struggle with that. Like, I'm like, I don't want to impose, like, to be like, you said this.
No, but you have to.
Yeah, and I know I would want that too. But I guess it's, I don't know, harder.
And I guess it comes from a place of love too. Like, you have to do it from like, you mentioned this was important. Is that still important to you? Yeah. But you also don't want to feel like, if it's just a friend and you're not like coaching, I don't want to be like that person that's like, they always be telling me, like, I can't even, and I'm like, no, I'm like, dude, we're so young, and why do I need to sleep so much? I don't need to be in bed so early and up late. Like, even on the weekends,
How many hours of sleep do you get?
I don't get no less than 7 hours.
Same.
And I'm like, that's good, right?
But, that's a good amount.
But I go to sleep like at 12.
12?
Or 1.
I go to sleep like 9.
I need to. Like, see, that's part of where I need to be disciplined, is going to sleep earlier, because I want to be up early and enjoy the day. And especially right now that the weather's getting good, I'm like, I want to be outside. And not like that. I try to be outside, but literally outside.
Having picnics.
Yes, like doing. Yeah. I don't know, but I think it is important to surround yourself with people who see your potential, because there's going to be times where you don't see it. That is why people hire life coaches. That's why people hire business coaches, is because you need that reminder of what you said you wanted to do. Because if you don't have it, then you're just going to be like, well, I don't have to.
And I think a lot of it is like ADHD. Like, I haven't been diagnosed, but I feel like I have ADHD. And it's just hard for me to focus, or like, I'm the type of person, like, if I don't write it in my calendar, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, it's just, I feel like there's so many tabs in my brain, in my calendar, like, what's going to help you, especially if you have like ADHD or something like that.
And then your calendars, or even if you do it on your phone, it reminds you before. So you're like, okay, I have to do this. I'm the same way, though. It's crazy because I think I have ADHD, but I also, when I focus on something, that's all I can do. Like, I can't. Yeah,
like, I obsess over something. But it's weird. It has to be something that has my attention, too. I noticed that. Like, if it's something that I don't care about, I'm not interested in, like, it's so hard for me to get it done. But if it's something that I'm learning or something that interests me, like, I obsess over it, which is weird.
That's how I'm, like, even with, like, editing my TikToks, like, I'm like, I shut the world off, and I'm like doing, like, and then I'm like, okay, I'm back, like, but it's like I can't focus, but when I do focus, like, I can't multitask.
Yeah, like, same.
But that's all. I feel like ADHD is multitasking, because you never finish anything.
It's like sometimes. You start and you feel excited, and then later, like, you move on to something else. Yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah, and I want to. And there are ways to, like, I think, manage it with tips like that. Like,
yeah, like time blocking, like setting time aside for exactly that, which I need to do more of that. Like actually write down at this time I'm going to the gym at this time. But I feel like if I mess up one, like I'm just like, well, try again tomorrow.
now you have to switch your calendar around.
Yeah.
The one that I always mess up is the gym. Like I'll have it there, and then I'll schedule, and then I'm like, oh, well, now I have to squeeze it in here or do this. But that's gonna be my goal, and that can be your, like, we can have goals is to just, and it's a goal that's gonna make us better.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything but making us a better version of ourselves. If you're someone who has the same struggle, like keeping, I'm sure that it happens to literally almost everyone.
Yeah, I would say everyone.
Because
we have so many distractions too. You know, like we said, our phone, the TV, maybe just people want to go out. Like it's so many things that can take your attention away from what you want to do.
Yeah, I think I was gonna make a video about this. Is like when you like what I do when I start feeling like that, like the negative self-talk, like this. Some of the things that I do, it's like I journal, and I let it all out because I used to not only journal what I wanted to talk about, like, but I'm like, no, who's judging me? It's me and a piece of paper, like, and God. Like, God already, I can't lie to God. God already saw what I'm doing. Like, I think that's the part that I need. I'm like, okay, I can't even, like, lie. Because God is going to be like, girl, you've been laying on TikTok. So what is your excuse? And it's true, though. Like, what is my excuse to not do the things that I say I want to do? And there's times where I do get like in this funk, and it means sometimes I will literally like put my phone somewhere else, sit outside, literally be like in the sun, and I'll have a book or something or journal, but then I also try to just sit there without that, because I feel like you're still stimulating your brain with something. You can't sit alone, and I think I struggle with that sometimes, is being completely like quiet.
Me too. Like today I was, I always have like a podcast on or something.
Yes.
And I feel like I just heard something in my brain be like, just turn everything off. Like you don't need to always have listening to something, consuming all this information. Like, and I think that's my problem, is that I feel like I always need to be hearing somebody else talk or something. And I turned it off, and the silence even kind of felt scary. Like I was like, it's quiet. Like, I don't know. It was kind of weird, but I need more of that.
It makes me wonder if it goes back to us when we were younger, like in our household, how it was always something going on. Like quietness wasn't a thing, and like we always had,
especially you had siblings, and it's just
having like the TV on, something on, because the one thing that my parents always made sure was that when we ate, TV was off. Like we didn't have the TV on, but other than that, like there was always something going on. And when you live alone, it's like you kind of keeps you from feeling so alone. Yeah. You know, I think that's one of the things that, like, for me, living by myself, is I would literally, but even when I live with somebody, like, I still have to have something. And I don't know, it's something that, there's something definitely, like, in our brain that is dopamine. It's some dopamine in there. Like, even to wash dishes, I'm like, oh, I'm excited. Yeah. Because I get to play something. Like,
which it is good, like we said, habit stacking, or like, like if you really like this podcast, do it while you wash dishes or something like that. But I think it is important to like just have quiet time. Because I was like, if God wants to talk to me, I probably would never hear him, because I'm always listening to other people talk. And I'm like,
that's a good one.
You know, like,
God's probably been yelling at me, and I'm like, wait, let me play this. Oh my gosh. And it's also important what you listen to. That's why I think one of the things that we've talked about is, what do we want people to hear from this podcast? Because it is important what you listen to. Like, if all I'm listening to is gossip and negative drama stuff on YouTube, then that's where my mind is at. But if I'm listening to like affirmations, or I'm listening to worship music, or I'm listening to girls like that motivate me, or somebody that says something that I'm like, damn, they're right. Like, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of just like this girl, and she just does like motivational the one that I sent you, and that to me even feels good to listen to. You know, I'm like, okay, she's right. She made a point that I could take from that. But when we're constantly listening to gossip from Hollywood
Yeah.
Hollywood stars that we don't even know, like,
Exactly.
girl, why? I mean, sometimes it's fun just to have little girl time, but how does that help me?
But I feel like we overdo it too. I remember maybe a year ago, I unfollowed like Hollywood Unlocked, E News, like all of these news things, because I'm like one piece of information, I would have it 20 times on my feed. Like they share the same thing pretty much, and I was just like, this is. I feel like it became too much. Like I realized like social media has made me so nosy in other people's business and I just started like unfollowing pages like that, or even like I was going through it. I remember being like, why do I follow Drake's baby mama? Like, like it's random, but I remember I followed her because I was like, I'm so nosy that.
For real.
Or like just random people, like a celebrity I like's friend that they hadn't got one time, like I would follow, like everything. And I was like, why am I keeping up with all these people? Like, why do I know his baby mama went to France or, like, and it's so random. But I really started to like clear my feed out because you don't realize it. And I was at first, like, with the new stuff, I felt like FOMO, like, what if I don't know something or whatever. But I'm like, if it's important, you'll hear about it, So, yeah.
That is true. I need to do that because I follow, I don't know. I just follow.
I still follow some people, but I feel like we don't need to follow it. I don't know, like, every single person, like.
Or think about, like, why do I still follow them? Or if you do start feeling like every time I look at these posts, like, obviously there's something or I need to heal something within me. What is that? And then if it's like I'm constantly comparing myself, like, unfollow them, but also know that it's going to happen with anyone if you're doing it with a celebrity, but there's something deep rooted in there that you're like, why am I feeling this way? Why is this person triggering me? Why is it? And then, figure that out. But yeah, it's true though. I do follow a bunch of girls like with nice bodies. I'm scared to open like my Instagram because it'll be like girls shaking their booty. I'm like, one time I opened it and I was just like, I left my phone and my mom's like, ¿Qué andas viendo? And it was a girl. I think it was Nasty Nas, the girl that could twerk really good. Do you follow?
I don't know her.
Oh my God. I do like her twerking videos. But she's just like a good twerker. Yeah. And she's like, ¿Qué es eso? I'm like, no sé. And I felt so dirty. I'm like, oh God, I want you to think I like
I
women.
used to follow a lot of people like that too. And then I feel like it started me to be like, how did this become normalized? Like, I don't know. To me, I was just like, wait.
But
I think that's why a lot of men struggle with porn now, honestly. Like, it's just everywhere. Like, if they want to sell you a perfume, like it's a naked woman, like it's become so normalized today that your mom doesn't have it on her feed, so she's like, what the, she sees it as like, what is this? And we're so programmed to like already like be like, oh, it's nothing, but I don't think that's normal.
Yeah, it's not. And that's all that comes up on mine, and I don't even have men on there. Like, literally all I have is girls, and that is true though. I need to like, why do I still follow them? I do like Nasty Nas though, because she knows how to twerk. I'm gonna show you her. Dang it, we're like no better than no man. I am not better than no man. But yeah, but why? Why do I need to see that?
Yeah, and if it's somebody who I'm like, they have a personality too, I'm like, I don't mind following them, but I feel like too much of it eventually does make me be like, dang, like I need to get my body done and shit.
But what were we talking about?
I know. I feel like I had something to say about that, but I forgot.
We just need to be more aware when we are on social media. Like, and even if I'm like, hey, okay, I'm going to be on social media, but let me make something for my social media. Like, if this is something that's important to me, if this is something that I want to start doing, because it's fun. I love posting on TikTok. Like, to me, it's actually fun. It's just about doing it.
Yeah. And
then once I do it, like, I'm not worried about the likes anymore. I used to. I'd be like, oh, sorry, y'all burped. I'd be like, oh my God, I didn't get no likes. Now I'm just like, I don't care. Like, it's just fun to do. And eventually, like, who knows? Maybe someone would benefit or would like it, even if they don't. But it's just fun.
I like your videos. You should post more.
You too. So we both need to. I'm going on the razors later. Where you
Oh,
go.
really?
Mm-hmm. And I might make a video of that.
You should. I like watching stuff like that.
I might go live. People, oh my gosh, I don't know how girls, I don't get no girl. I want the girlies to come on my live. What do I have to do? Like, get ready with me?
I think guys would watch that too.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
I'm like, where are the girlies
Yeah.
at? Like, I don't know how to get, because men are always going to be on the live.
Yeah.
Like, and they make the most, like, some comments that they make, like,
Yeah.
and it's always people on live that don't have a picture or they'll just make the most. And some of them, they can be very mean. So you have to have thick skin. I told you, to get on live, you have to have, like, because they will say things. And it's funny because Carla was live yesterday while we were at work. So the whole shift, like, it was fun. Like, I think
whole shift?
almost like not the whole shift, but like 2 hours she was on live.
Damn.
But she would go work and we would all like be like, so they were just watching us work.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting because I've watched people's live where they're
Yeah, I've seen
at
people
work.
like working at Amazon and they're just whatever they're doing.
And people like were sending her gifts, like money, and then I don't know, people were actually watching it. Like,
Yeah. I think to me it's just scary, just like, I guess people, I don't know.
yeah, because I guess my thing is like, okay, what do I want to talk about though? Like,
Yeah.
what do I want them to know or what?
I think about people who go live all the time, like Shawty Bay and them, like literally all day. I feel like.
And they're like, Wilito and Wendy.
They blew up.
Yes. I guess people just like watching people do things.
Yeah.
Like,
And I feel like eventually, like, people get to know you. Like, they feel like they're with you. Like, they get to know you.
mm-hmm.
But I don't think I ever want to get too big to where people know everything about me. Like, I don't know. I like a little bit of mysteriousness.
Yeah, I feel like there's some things you want to keep private.
Yeah, because
especially-
even, like, her with Wendy, and they were saying, like, she's a bad mom, like, all this. And I'm just like, people just start hating just because you get big. It's inevitable.
And how do you not let that get to you?
Yeah,
like
it has
you're
to get to you.
You know, like it does. I saw a video of her crying about it too, and I'm like, it does. Like it has.
Yeah.
But that's how people on social media are. They're gonna keep telling you things, and you just have to have like thick skin. And it's gonna take from hearing a bunch of crap about you.
And people think if you didn't post it, it didn't happen, or you know things like that.
And people think they know you more than you know yourself.
Yeah.
Like, how you telling me when, first of all, you don't know me. Like, you've seen me. You see what I choose to share, you know?
And like they say, it's like a parasocial relationship, which that is kind of crazy to me how, because there's influencers who I feel like I know, you know? Like, I feel like, and that they would feel like they don't know me. You know,
They'd be like,
who are you?
Who are you? You'd be like,
But I feel like, but you feel like you know them. Like, I saw you folding your laundry yesterday. Like, what do you mean?
but have you ever met somebody like that maybe watches us on the podcast, but they like talk to you like,
Yeah, they're
know
like,
you?
hey. And I'm just like,
I guess it's because people make us feel comfortable.
yeah. And we do share, I feel like we just talk, you know, like, and they see that we're like chill.
And I want people to know that this really is how we are. Like,
Yeah.
this is us. And I have noticed, though, that I've met girls that have watched the podcast and they feel more comfortable. Like, they're like, oh, hey, like, I watch. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like, it makes me happy because I think when you don't see somebody's personality, like, it's so easy to make assumptions. Like,
Yeah.
oh, she's stuck up or she's this or I don't know. Because I don't post on anything else like
Yeah,
that. Like,
I really don't.
Instagram, I don't post anymore. I used to be posting my thirst traps. all
Yeah,
day.
me too.
Girl, I would be having photo shoots just to post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So now it's like, that's not who, like the version. I still like to I don't even take cute pictures anymore, actually.
I don't either. I want to, though.
Me too. Like,
But there is more to us than
just
that,
what
yeah.
we show on, like,
our perfect angles and, you know.
But it does feel like you know somebody. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's somebody that I think I would know, and it's Catherine McBroom.
Yeah,
Well,
I love Catherine.
Me too. Well, I don't want to call her McBroom no more because she Pice.
Yeah.
Well, Catherine, I like literally, like, I feel like if I saw her, I would be like, she would give the best hug.
And
Don't
I think
you
that's
know?
why she's big, because a lot of people feel like that. I feel like with her.
Like, I honestly feel like she is genuine. And
Yeah, you can tell she's her authentic self because the stuff she says, I'm like, like even like she used to be a mermaid. You know how she got clowned for that?
I forgot about that.
Like I love her, but she's like herself, which makes it so cool.
Yes.
Like, because I remember when she said it, I was like, that's wild, but she got so clowned for that, or like the way she thinks, you know, but she doesn't care, which is beautiful.
Yeah, I do like.
Even like Brampty.
I was gonna say Brampty.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
it should be more, 'cause I could just see it, like her and Louise.
Yeah. Like you can tell when people are themselves. And Catherine, I feel like she got caught up in some things, but I feel like she has a good heart.
Yeah. Who else? I'm trying to think of who else I feel like. Bretman Rock.
Yeah,
But I feel like I'd be intimidated by him. Like,
yeah.
I'd be like,
he's too confident for me.
I'd be like, oh my God. Like, I'd want to say hey, but I'd be like, I don't know if I should be like, hey, bitch.
Yeah.
Or, hey, boo. Or, you know, I don't know what kind of vibe he would. But I love him. Like, that's somebody I would
He
love.
like lives my dream life. Like in Hawaii. Like, that's the kind of life I want. Like, I want to have money, but also just live a simple life.
And you can tell, like, him, like, for example, I feel like he does give off, like, genuine vibes, too. And I'm trying to think, like, what makes them different than others? Like,
but I wonder, is there people, though, that seem like that? Like, they're good at They say there's a lot of people who are good at acting like they're not the same person off screen. I don't think none of the people we named, but, like, there are people, like, you know, the Blake Lively thing.
let's
Like,
talk about that.
supposedly she's, like, a mean girl.
I watched the movie, and,
Oh, my sleep.
it was good. I think the movie was good. I think that...
Was it good, or was it, like, eh?
Honestly...
Because I didn't know the character was supposed to be 23. I'm like, she does not look 23.
No, so apparently they were, but I think he's a neurosurgeon, so they needed him to be older too, because it's like, how are you going to be 23 and be a however
sense.
you say, a neurosurgeon? If I say words wrong, by the way, it's because Spanish is my first language. Okay, I feel like sometimes I don't know how to say things.
Neurosurgeon.
You know what I used to say? Instead of saying politics, I used to say politics. There's more that I have, but like I used to.
I've done that with some words.
I was reading in class, and I remember I was like politics, and then somebody read after me, and they're like politics, and I'm like, oh shit. That's just a disclaimer. Spanish was my first language. Thank you.
Was it really?
Yes, my parents didn't speak to us in English until I went to school.
Yeah.
All right. What were we oh, yeah, but the movie, okay, I'm going to say the movie was good, but they missed a lot of important things from the book. Because I read the book last year, and they did miss, like, some things that would have been special to add to the movie. And I did cry a little bit at the end. But, dang, girl. ASMR. ASMR. But I think...
But I think that what they're saying is that she's a mean girl.
And she's not highlighting on the DV.
The DV.
Of the show, which she did. I saw an interview where they asked her, like, how do you want people to approach you? And she's like, oh, you want to see my location?
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, this is not the time, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe she got nervous. No, she's been
But it's been a lot of things. Even when somebody was like, something about her little bump because she was pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, your little bump. Or I don't remember what she said.
She's like, what about your little bump?
Yeah.
I'll be like, what about?
And I don't know if it's part of the, like, was she saying it because she's like, don't comment on my body or what? But it's like little things that I'm like, I see that she could be a mean girl. But I'm like, we never know in real life. But I never was like a fan of her.
I've never been.
Like, I never saw like, people love her and Ryan Reynolds and all that.
I think it's if you watch Gossip Girl, you love her. Because
Yeah.
I never really,
I couldn't get into that.
Yeah, I never really watched Gossip Girl, so I never really got into her. I don't know.
Or even, like, Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
There was a movie that I liked that she was in. It's The Age of Adeline.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
That one was good, but yeah, I was never a fan. I'm not really a fan of a lot of people. Like a fan, like I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Or like I'm trying to think of who I'm a big fan of. Besides the people we already talked about.
Like actor wise?
Like actors.
I like Rachel McAdams.
Oh yeah.
And actors I love like Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey.
Okay, Adam Sandler. Okay, no, I am a huge fan of somebody.
Who?
Eugenio Derbez.
Oh,
From yes, you do, from La Familia Peluche.
Oh. Oh yeah, what's that movie he's in about the ship?
He's in a lot of good movies, and if I could meet one celebrity,
it would be him.
It would be him. Please come on the podcast.
And I love actors who are like comedians too. Like, yes. It makes it funnier.
And he's hilarious. Like, I don't know. He reminds me a lot of my uncle. I feel like I know him. Like, I feel like he's one of the actors that I'm like, I feel like I would know. But he's somebody. That's so funny. I was just telling my dad today. I'm like, I want to meet him. Like, I really want to. Like, he's just an icon. But other than that, I don't really know actors like that. Like, Adam Sandler, yes.
Yeah, other than that, But I don't know. I'm like, maybe we never know their real life, so we don't know how they are. But I mean, it ain't looking good for Blake. I don't know.
She hasn't made a comment about it, has she? Yeah, like I said, I've never really watched her stuff like that, so I don't know. But the stuff that is coming out, it does make you want to be like,
yeah,
that's rude.
They're saying she's a new J-Lo.
Oh, Lord.
Like, people don't like her.
Is it true that J-Lo and
oh yeah, getting divorced?
Oh my God, I feel like celebrities is just more common now. To get divorced, like.
And I bet it has to be hard though to be married, like in the limelight, or like you got to go through a lot.
That's some of the things that I think when we talked about keeping things private, that would be one of the things that I'd be like,
yeah. My relationship, like my family, like maybe here and there, but I wouldn't want to be plastered on magazines, like every little thing.
Not like, unless we do something good. Put us on the magazine.
In a positive way.
Yeah, put us on there. But yeah, same. I don't know. But imagine you're like at the grocery store and you see like a magazine of like you and your man like splitting up and you're with your man. You're like, when did this happen? Like,
and a lot of things that they share isn't true. Like that would drive me crazy.
I'd be like, disclaimer. Like I'd be like making like I'd be, but no, you can't be like that.
Yeah,
you just gotta let people think what they think.
And that has to be so hard.
And meanwhile, you're over there, people talking about you're breaking up or whatever, and you're like in bed, like, who said that? Oh my gosh. Fall is coming up. Are you excited?
This is my favorite season. I love fall.
I can't wait. You know where I want to go so bad? Scarowinds.
What do they do?
So I went last year for the first time, and it's literally, they have like people like scaring you.
Oh yeah.
And there's haunted trails, like little haunted trails, but then you just get on the rides, and it's just, they sell like apple beer, like.
Oh yeah. It's very like fall.
Yes.
Fall carnival-y.
And they play like scary. I don't know. It is just.
I don't know how I feel about roller coasters. Like I'm too scared now.
Me too, because you hear more about like.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. Oh my gosh, the adrenaline.
I feel like I used to chase that adrenaline of like, oh shit, but now I feel like
it's too late. You're like,
yeah.
Oh.
And you always have that thought, like, what if this thing freaking just break? Do you have that thought every time?
Yeah.
Like,
but too late, honey.
Yeah.
It's too late.
And I'm like, why do I feel the adrenaline of like, I guess it's like jumping off a plane and all these things. But it's too scary. Like the other day I went to Wet n Wild and there's like a huge slide. The white one. Have you got on it?
I've never been to Wet n Wild.
Oh, really? It's like really tall. And I did it again. But I was like, a roller coaster, I could not. I don't think.
I don't know. I used to be scared too. And I'm scared of heights. Like I always say, like, I'm scared of heights. But once you're up there, I went for the first time to Carowinds like 3 years ago. And I had the best time. I had to be in the front. I wanted to be in the very front.
Oh my God.
And I just had like, it's like this nerve. But then when you're on there, you're like, oh, so fun.
And I just feel like I feel my organs like moving in my stomach. I used to love that feeling, and now it's like I feel like I want to pass out.
Yeah, it does feel that way, but
like, did you get on what's the ride that's like the fastest, tallest?
Is it Fury? No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got on that one 3 times because I went on like a weekday, so I wasn't busy. Yeah. And I got on that one like 3 times, and I went in the very front.
That one's scary.
But some of their rides, Carowinds, I feel like I need my neck, like yeah. I'm like, I need to fix some. It feels like this thing is falling apart.
Yeah.
They need to.
And I saw where there was a part that was like cracked on a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
And I think that's what made me be like, hell no. And it was at Carowinds, and I was like, yeah, I think I'd rather not.
Did we talk about this? Where there's a ride that I don't know if me and you talked about it. It was upside down, and it was up there like that for like
and people passed out
like 30 minutes. Was it 30 minutes? And they were stuck. Oh,
was it at Carowinds?
No, I don't think it was Carowinds.
I remember seeing that.
And they were stuck up there, like heading like their
upside down.
Yes. And
now you can die from that.
Oh no, I would have been like. And then you can't even get nothing. Like I don't
like upside down. Yeah, like
I'd be like, oh, this is it right here.
Yeah. Which they do have a lot of alarms, like if anything goes wrong, you know, like sensors and all that, which is good. But I just feel like I'm my big age. I don't know if I could handle it. So something that I've been recently watching is, what's it called? Testament. Is it the story of Moses, or what is it called?
I think it's called. Let me pull it up.
Moses.
I'll pull it up while you. I think it's a Testament of Moses, or
yeah, it's something like that on Netflix. But I really recommend you watch it. It is so mind blowing to me.
Testament, the story of Moses.
Because there's something about like visually watching like it play out, than like reading it or whatever. I feel like I'm a visual person, so it's the story of Moses, and it's just amazing to me, like his story. And then like that's how we got the 10 Commandments and all that. But I'm like, I don't know if I should give a synopsis of the story.
Well, there's a lot of I started watching it because you told me it was, but I didn't get very far. I haven't got very far on it. But there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from Moses. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the part that I'm like, there's so many things he had to like do and listen to God. And now he plays a huge character in the Bible and the story of how everything has came about. And I think you should share some of the things that.
Yeah, I feel like it makes you see that God uses everything for good. Because how the story starts is that, I'm like, I don't want to get it wrong, but they're pretty much killing what are they called? The people.
Israelites?
Is it Israelites?
No. I don't know how to say it. Let me figure it out.
Like they're slaves. And they're being killed by Pharaoh.
Babies are getting killed, right?
Yes. Is it the firstborns? The firstborn, I don't know if it's just the males. But he's ordering for all of them to be killed.
I don't know how to say it.
Israelites.
An enslaved minority.
Mm-hmm. So they were slaves. And Pharaoh's ordering for them to be killed. So the mom puts him in a river, and he goes down the river, and Pharaoh's, I don't know if it's his wife or his sister, because I've seen different movies, and they show it differently, but pretty much takes him in and raises him as her own. Mm-hmm. And she, eventually he ends up freeing his people. And I'm like, the whole story is just so mind-blowing. Like, I feel like the Bible is so cool to me. Like, it's true. It's like not drama. It's not made up. That's what amazes me about it.
And there's so many lessons that you learn from this. And I think one of them is, I think that there's a lot of interesting parts of it. And I haven't finished it, but I have heard this story a little bit. Mm-hmm. And just, I think listening to God, even when it was hard for him, you know? And wasn't he like, I don't want to get it wrong either, but wasn't he like, he could have been good staying where he was at, not saying anything. Like, he had a good...
Like, he lives with the king.
Is it true that he had a speech impediment or no? Because in the show, it doesn't show that he did.
It doesn't show that, but he might have.
Because I looked it up the other day, and it did say that he had trouble speaking, and it might not even be...
It does show eventually, like, that he just has this fear. Like you were saying, you had a public speaking, or, like, he felt like, I'm not good enough. Like, why me? And all these questions.
So he did... Okay, I want to hear that.
What?
Where are you going with that? So was God...
Yeah, on there it shows, like, he's questioning everything, like, why are you choosing me? Like, I'm not qualified for this. And, like, he listened to God's voice. And it's so many things that happen that it's like God was proving, like, who he is. Like, you can't doubt it, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, so many, what is it called? His stick. I don't know what it's called, but Moses has, like, the stick, and he's proven God. It tells him, like, I'm going to show people that I'm really God or whatever. So his stick, it turns into a snake, like it's little things. And then the Pharaoh has his magician do things, and, like, also makes a snake. And, like, the God snake kills the other one, like it's like little things. And then Pharaoh still doesn't listen, so they turned the river into blood. Like, it's so many things that happen. They said that it was infested with frogs. Like, God was trying to get him to let his people go because he didn't want to take it there. But they were saying there were so many frogs. Like, you couldn't open your mouth without a frog jumping in your mouth.
Oh, my God.
Imagine that. And it was different things. Like, everybody had lice. Like, it was... And then what else did they do? There was, like, a lot of bugs everywhere. Like, God just wanted to prove, like, who he was to them. And then eventually he took, it's like you had to do this thing, like, put the lamb's blood over your door. And then, like, if you didn't, like, your firstborn would be killed. Like, they would die in their sleep.
Oh, my gosh.
So eventually that happens with Pharaoh. Like, he loses firstborn. He lets the people go. He goes after them. But what's crazy to me is that it took them 40 years to reach the promised land. Mm-hmm. And they were complaining the whole way about it, which is, like, you think because you're not a slave anymore. You know, like, they were, like, still entrapped. Like, they were like, we would rather be slaves. At least we had food. We had a roof over our head. It's like they were complaining. And it's like, what would you rather have?
Mm-hmm. Like, they had to go through that tough 40 years to get...
Yeah, and they say that it would have taken 10 days, but it took them 40 years because they were so hard-headed.
That's a lesson to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we hear God speak, like, if you hear God's voice, and you know you want something, or you know God wants something for you, but you take so long to listen to it.
Yeah,
it's gonna take you a journey. Yeah. It's gonna be a journey, honey. And I think that's a lot. That's something that we can all learn from.
Yeah, especially in today's world, like, it's hard to speak. I don't know. I feel like people talk more about God now and stuff, but it's harder to, I don't know, it doesn't go with the world, you know? Like, some people are like, oh, God, like, Jesus freak, or, like, you know, if you talk about God, but it's like, you have to do it anyways, or whatever you feel called to talk about or do, which it can be hard.
And sometimes we may, and this is like we talked about recently, is we don't know. Yeah, as y'all can see, we're still learning. Like, yeah. And correct us. And if you know about it, like, we want to hear.
We want to learn more.
Like, I love learning about this. And we might not everyone wants to hear about it, and that's fine. But we do. So if you are someone who knows it, please comment and let us know. Because I'm like...
And I feel like to me, it's just interesting.
It is. And I don't know. I feel like with everything that happened, we can still bring it back to today. Like, there's something that we could take it back to today. And I don't know. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, but he ends up going, like, to the mountains to meet with God. And he comes up with the 10 Commandments and stuff. So I'm like, that's really cool. But it's sad to me that he doesn't reach the promised land. So sometimes we don't get what we want, but I think his purpose was served, you know, like, And the promised land is also like after this life. Like this isn't the only life we have. So
this is our temporary home. That's what I was reading. I'm reading a book, another book. I'm reading like 5 books. This is my ADHD. It just depends what mood I'm in. In this book, it talks a lot about God, and like I love it because it does put life into a different perspective. And it's like this right now is our temporary home, you know, and it's like a tent to where we're gonna be like in eternity with God. And like the only thing like it's like God knew who our family was going to be. He knew everything before we did, right? And then everything that we have, though, is temporary. Like, this clothes is temporary. Like, everything, and that's so sad, though. But but it's also like.
But it also makes you be like, nothing matters.
But at the end, though,
nothing
matters.
You can't take nothing with you, you know? Like all your belongings, your possessions, and
you can't. But what is gonna matter when you're up there and God is judge? It's Judgment Day. Is that what it's called? Like when you're like,
when you're
is your heart what you did when you were? And I saw this in the book too. He's not gonna look at God's not gonna look at your trophies. At your bank account, at your anything. That you would sometimes we put so much importance on it because it is important to us, but at the end of the day, none of that matters. You know, if we're so worried about what's in our bank account because we want to be impressing others, right? We want to live for others, honey. It's okay, like, but God doesn't care about that. God's like, I don't care what's in your bank account. I care about how you treat the world. And that's something that everyone can learn because you can have all the money. You can have a nice car. You can have, guess what? It's not going with you, but it doesn't make you a good human to have those things at the end of the day.
I was thinking about that too. Like we say instant gratification. Like, I feel like when I go like shopping and stuff, like I feel like, you know, like I feel a little good, like a little, and then and I think about how, like, in a month, I forget about what I bought. Or, like, you know, like, we get these instant gratifications from anything, like buying new shoes, like, going out, like, all these things. But it's, like, it doesn't fulfill us. And I don't know. I feel like you can always be searching for that. But I don't know. I feel like I've always known Muz's story. But that really went into depth. And it had, like, scholars on there, like, explaining.
Yeah, and appreciating not just with money, but, like, our health. When we are sick, when we're like, God, heal me. But like when we're healthy, it's like, God, thank you for this healthy body. Thank you for like my healthy family. Like that's one of the things that I'm always like, God, like thank you for my health. Thank you for my families. Thank you for my friends. Like, because I think I said this in one of the episodes. It's like, it is true though. Like once you have health problems, that becomes your only problem. After that, everything's like not so blessed. Like if you're healthy and you're here, you like it just makes me think back to why can't we just get our ass up and go to the gym? Like we have a healthy working body. We have, if you want to start making videos, we have a healthy working voice. Like there's people who can't speak. There's people who would probably love to go on a YouTube, but they can't. That pisses me off about us.
We have all the materials. We have the phones. We have the little lights. Like, I don't know. It is mind blowing to me where I'm like,
or even eating healthy. Like we have the sources to go eat healthier, make better choices, or whatever it is. Like we're just so blessed, and I think sometimes we let these problems that are so small, like you have to remember, like, why is this a problem? Oh wait, it's because we have a podcast. Like, oh my gosh, like little things. Like I remember, I think I talked about this, like the first time we went out on the boat, it wouldn't start. Right? And everyone was so disappointed. Like, obviously, you got your stuff. You're like, my mom had the food. We had everything ready. The boat didn't start. And honestly, I was like, if this is our biggest problem, we are blessed. Oh, wow, my boat doesn't start. Like, how privileged is that?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, it took that perspective. And I told my brother, because my brother was really disappointed. You're excited. You can't help but you let your excitement. And you just never know what God was protecting us from. It was like Memorial Day weekend or something. I forgot what. Like, you never know. People were out drinking and you just never know. And I think it was just that disappointment. But at the end of the day, we all went back to my parents' house and we're together. And it was still a good time. But I think we let little things like that, because they're little, like so little that you're just like,
it's about changing your perspective on it.
Yes. Like, I'm trying to think, like, and now that I say that, like, it's funny because that day I was telling everybody, I was like, yeah, this is like the biggest issue, y'all. Like, we're good. So now next time I say something like, if that's your biggest issue, you're good. I'm like, it's true though. If this is my biggest issue, then I am good, And I think that's something that we can all like take with us, is just think about next time you feel stressed or you feel like, if that is something that is your biggest problem, like, there could be way more other problems, and sometimes it's a problem within a blessing. Like, you prayed for this, and guess what? Now, like, let's say you prayed for a new car and you get a new car, and now that car needs an oil change. Well, damn, I got a new car. Now, like, things like that, like, oh, now I gotta pay my car. And it's expensive and it's money, but you prayed for this car.
That is true. Like they say, to remember you're living in one of your old prayers right now. And I think we forget that a lot. Like, I do.
Yep.
So I think it is good to not live in the past, but look back and see how far you've come, or like the growth you've had, to recognize that. Because in the moment, it doesn't feel like it, but yeah, like even us podcasting, like 2 years ago, I don't think we would have thought that we would actually be doing it.
Yeah, that we would be here with cameras and a mic. Like, we would have, we could have probably maybe thought that one day.
Yeah.
But we would have never thought that it was this.
Yeah.
Today. Like, we would have never planned for this. We could have never planned for this.
Yeah.
2 years ago. And now, like, we look back and I'm like, I'm so proud of us. Like, we do this. Any other things too, like that, we just need to remember to be proud of ourselves for. Whether one thing I'm proud of myself for is not drinking like as much as I used to. Like, I'm really proud of myself for that.
Yeah, me too.
Like, yesterday I did go to the restaurant I only had 2 drinks and I was like, okay, this is good. Like, I feel good now. Like, I'm, like back then I'm like, shots, let's do this. And maybe one day, like, I'll still do that, but I just know that that's not in alignment. Like, I already know that it doesn't align with who I want to be anymore. Because then I feel like crap today. Because then I know I'm not going to be my best self on the podcast or at work. Or it's like you start, like, I'm like, dang, back then I didn't care about the consequences.
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh, I'll figure it out tomorrow. Like, and I think we just we should feel so proud of ourselves.
Yeah, so
you should feel proud of yourself too. If there's something, if you're feeling the negative talks that you've been, I don't know, if you're feeling like a failure, or you're feeling like, oh, I don't know, so disappointed in yourself, you should still look back and think about times where you should feel proud of yourself. Especially when you're already down, like you did something bad or you did something you regret. That's all you're going to think about is all the horrible things. When my dad got on to me, that's all I could think about. I was like, I just fail people. Like, I'm a failure. Like, I failed my dad, and I'm sure I've failed so many other people. But no, I've also done good things for people. Like, you know, like, it's just your perspective is everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's hard, though, sometimes. And sometimes my empathy, like, I look at other people, it's not even my business, and I want to tell like somebody like, hey, I think maybe, like, and then I'm like, wait, that's not my business. Like, it's really not. You have to remember that it's not, like, but then you're like, what's the line between minding your business and standing up for what's right?
Like, what? Give me an example.
I can't.
Oh.
Okay, well,
I'm trying to think just like a surface level. Like,
okay, so let's say, for example, there's a table at Taco when you see, like, the husband's being mean to the wife, or, like,
oh, yeah.
Like, it's like,
I know what you mean.
Like, you're like, should I say something? Like, it's okay. Like, she's fine. Like we're good. Everything's good. And you're like, but then what about, where's the limit where I need to, I feel like in those situations, like, you just mind your business sometimes.
Yeah, I'll give you some examples now that you say that. I remember like when I was going through like my spiritual awakening or whatever, me and my sister were kind of dealing with it at the same time. And I remember we went to Ross, and we were walking in the store, and there was this lady with her little daughter, and the daughter had to be like 2 maybe, but she was like yelling and being so mean to her daughter, like, and we were like, so like, what? Like, I've never, like, hearing a parent talk to their kid, like, put them down, like, you're so annoying, like, just stop, like, shut up, you know, like, yelling at her. And we were just like, oh my God, like, we went in the store, and we could hear it in the store too.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what do we do? Like, do I because this is going to change this little girl's life. Like, I was like, I also don't want to be you know, like, it's the line of, like, should I say something and get beat up? Or
Yes.
Because she looked like she would say something to, like, cuss me out too. But I struggled with it. I was like, man, do I say something? And then we went to the car, and I didn't have the guts to say it. And that's something that I think about to this day. I'm like, I should have just been like, how do you say something nicely? Like, hey, like, I don't know, it's hard. And then later on, I was like, I should have wrote a note and just left it in her car, because I saw her car she was driving. And maybe sometimes people need to like, they don't see how their actions are, like, hurting others.
And how other people can see it. Like,
yeah.
How it comes off, like, to us, like, watching. But sometimes I've thought about that too. Like, I'm like, what if I say something and then it turns out even worse for, like, let's take that example for the little girl. Like, what if I say something and then she goes home and says, like, because of your fault now people think I'm a bitch.
But me and my sister, I remember we left, we were crying in the car. We were like, and we were going through our awakening, so we started to see, like, how everything has a cause and effect and all this. And I was just thinking, this girl's going to grow up and, like, have, like, self-esteem issues, like, all this. And I didn't get the guts to say nothing to her. But when I drove away later, I was like, I should have wrote a note and just left it in her car or whatever. But, yeah, it's been other times, too, where I'm like, do I say something? Do I not? Like, it's the empathy in me, but also, like, and now looking back, I should have spoke up. Like, I think I should have.
Well, now I feel like if you saw something like that, you would be like, okay, I remember how I felt when I didn't speak up.
Yeah.
I'd rather not feel that feeling again and speak up for.
Yeah.
And you just never know. Sometimes I think when you do it, though, you know you have to do it. Like,
yeah.
You don't even think about it. You just go.
I know, and I was thinking maybe the mom's having a bad day. Like, I've been there.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, the way I was just like, especially in public, I was just so like.
To me, if you're willing to act like that in public, who knows what you'll do in private, in the privacy of your home. Like, I remember one time my parents were at the flea market. This was years ago. I remember hearing about this story. My dad saw a man, like, beating his wife. Like, and my dad went up to him, and he's like, you want to hit somebody, hit me.
Oh, my God. I love your dad.
And he's like, and then my dad, like, gave him, like, a speech. Like, like, don't do that. Like, you cannot be hitting your wife. And you never know, though. He could have been more mad.
Yeah.
And, like, but my dad said, like, he had to do it. Like, you see that, and it's like, I feel like if I saw that, I'd be like.
And imagine being that woman. Like, you would want somebody to speak up because, you know.
Because you can't.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's in public. Like, to me, like, that pisses me off. Like, even in private, but, like, if you're willing to do it in public.
Yeah, like, what are you doing behind closed doors?
Yes. And I don't know, like, that's a good example too. Like, the kid, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of another time where
I'm like, maybe she wasn't aware of how her words carry weight, like the power of our tongue. Like you can curse your child without even, you know, any little thing. Like, especially at that age, like, they just soak up everything.
That makes it sad, and I think that it's something all of us, like, all of our words carry weight, even with ourselves. So even when, you know, like, but it is sad. Sometimes, like, that's why I want to have a kid, because I'm like, I want to raise a baby. Like, I want to raise somebody to believe in themselves. Yeah. Like, but I'm like,
you would make the best mom.
You think so?
Yeah.
I want to have, like, I do want to have kids, and who knows when, but.
Because you're just so aware of, you know.
I feel like I'd overthink it, though. I'd be like, I'd be in the room like, did I offend you? Did I
think that's part of it. Like, you always feel like you're not doing enough or overthink it.
Yes, but I just feel like, I don't know. I think you should always stand up for what's right, though.
Yeah, you should, and that's what it takes. I guess it's having the courage.
That is true.
But yeah, I think we've rambled enough.
How long have we been on? Y'all, this has been the longest.
2 hours and 10 minutes.
Shut up. What time is it? Okay, guys, this was a good. I think we have some good stuff. I think.
But yeah, y'all, I didn't think I could talk that long.
Me either.
Like, damn.
I feel like.
But I do feel like there's a lot going on in my head that I'm like, this is my time to let out everything. I don't know. I hope that we don't come across as like just crazy. Like we talk about everything. I don't know.
Well, I don't think so. But then again, we both like this is like this.
We're both like into like
everything. But I don't know. I guess we're still trying to find our thing. We talked about this like our niche, but we don't really.
I think our niche is just a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we do want to bring positivity or like motivation, like all these things, and also current topics, like we said at the beginning. And then a little bit of God in there too, because just a little bit of everything that we're dealing with.
And things that we're learning
too.
Because I feel like every time we come on here, we're learning something. Mm-hmm. Something, it could be spiritual, it could be what's going on or whatever. Like we're always learning, and we could be, if you have something, we want to know what you've been learning. Like we're open to anything. Everyone to know what we're talking about. Just go in the description. We always put it down there. So it might be, you might think like we put it on the title, but not, we ramble. Yeah. We talk about literally other things.
Yeah, it'll be in the description.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description. And we hope you enjoyed. It was our first MUKBANG. We didn't do good. I feel like we were just like, it's hard. Okay, I give props to anyone who does it because it is hard.
I didn't think it was that hard. But I felt like we ate all at once, and then we're like, okay. But the food was good. Make sure you go to Taco Loco and try the nachos trios.
Yes.
So good.
And what else?
I think that's it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Y'all, we're trying to make it at 500. That's like our goal.
Really?
Yeah. Well, to get to the monetization.
Oh, that's right. Okay, now that we have a goal in mind, we're going to get there.
Yeah. So our goal is to get to 500. So if you watch all our videos and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you like the video, like it. And I think that's
if you like it, you'll like it, please.
Yeah.
No, but subscribe, follow us on TikTok. We try to make little clips for TikTok so you can kind of get an idea of what we talk about on the podcast. So
yeah, I think it's TMSG Podcast on TikTok.
Instagram, we post them on there too. And message us if you want us to talk about something or there's some advice you need. We are more than happy to give you that advice. And until next time.
Yeah. We'll see y'all next time.
Have a wonderful day or night.
Bye.
Bye. I do want to know if you made it this far. I do want to know what time people watch us. Like, is this more of a night? I feel like we're nighttime people.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like we're like there's just podcasts that you just listen to at night, or I feel like we're a nighttime podcast.
Yeah.
So I want to know if you listen to us, I want to know what time you listen to us.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're out.
Bye.
Bye. We love you.